try the Dewalt here. Howdy folks, Doc here with Last Best Tool, and we're going to take a closer look at the Prunibaroo PR-D35. It's one of these handheld pruners. Now, I've had this Dewalt one for quite a while. I really like it. It's a little dated, it's heavy, and it's dangerous in more ways than one. By the way, this is one of my least favorite pruners. This is a Spears & Jackson, which is probably just a, one of their aftermarket accessory things. They make a lot of gardening tools, but this thing really hurts to use. It does have some neat pruning things. It's got the standard knife, a pruning blade, which is interesting because neither one of these locks. They're kind of the early old Leathermans. Of course, it's got a saw. You got to have that. Again, it doesn't lock. A corkscrew and a bottle opener, because if you are a gardener, you know what comes after pruning. But anyway, this one's just kind of funny. These just grind into your hand. I don't know who thought of this, but thought I'd bring that to your attention. But anyway, the Prunarbo here, one of the things that's kind of neat about it is it takes Dewalt batteries. Also has an LCD display and some more safety features. So I can run this guy and then just pop the battery off here. And I can use almost any Dewalt battery. Now, this is a little different. One of the safety features is I've got to get this thing running. So it gives me some information there. Can double click and then I can operate it. When I first saw it, I thought maybe these would spin like some cool steampunk thing, but those are just locking in for the blades. And the blades, by the way, are Japanese SK5 steel. Comes with an extra set of blades. Just a super solid design the way this cuts. It's more of a shear. This thing is razor sharp right in there. But anyway, you do get an active counting here. Gives you an indication if it's open or closed. By the way, one of the safety features I want to show you is if I hold it in the closed position, just like this, it's now locked in the closed position. The Dewalt, the only way I've found that I can get this thing to stay closed, which then the cover doesn't fit. This is the Dewalt cover. It's nice and big and only fits in one way, so I'm always putting it on backwards, assuming I still have it. I can't believe I haven't lost it, and I'll talk about that. But I found I can close it and then pull the battery out, and then it stays closed, but you have to kind of know that, and then it kicks open pretty fast. This uses a little, that's like its entire safety right there, kind of like a Glock or something, but it's so easy to accidentally trip this thing. Milwaukee, if you want to spend a few more bucks, this is like $200 when I got it. They might be a little less now. It uses a different interface here. And you can really feel that brushless motor. Brushless motors, I think, are essential on a tool like this, and that's one of the advantages that the Prunibaroo, get that to show up here, has over the Dewalt. But anyway, the Milwaukee, kind of nice. It's got a lot of torque on the side. And speaking of the torque on these things, this has a 20,000 RPM 800-watt motor inside it. So when you get it going, and the way you work that is with the double tap here. That's the safety feature, so you're not going to accidentally pick it up. I mean, it's like a lot of things. If you hand this to somebody, they immediately put their finger on the trigger. That's where the Dewalt, can kind of get in trouble. This thing, if it's off, pull the battery to show you here. Turn it on so it's in its off position. If I hand it to you, when you immediately push that. What I have done is turned it on. But notice nothing's happening because it's going to take a double tap to get this in its active mode. A big safety feature that deals with the brushless motor is this does not spark at all. So if you look here, nothing. And I hadn't really realized just how much this Dewalt sparks with its old non-brushless motor. Look at that. I mean, it's just... See all that? And that's no load. And speaking of load, let's go ahead and work through this. I've got some some different sized sticks here. It's harder wood. You can see the size there. This has got a 35 millimeter, 3.5 centimeter average cutting, but you know, I push these things and I sometimes have to make multiple cuts. But it's pretty amazing just how effective these are. Look at that. It's got the Dewalt in here to see how it compares. Dewalt struggled there for a sec. So the Prunibaroo does appear to be stronger, although this is aged. Let's try the Milwaukee here. The Milwaukee also has a way to, you know, use a kind of a toggle here to control the blade, and then this gives you either full open or partially closed. So if you're doing a lot of teeny weeny trimming, you know, little things, you can avoid the time delay of waiting for it to open up. But the Milwaukee's pretty stout. Let's try it on a bigger branch here, see what happens. So this is pushing the limits. This is outside the range of what this is designed for, but we'll go ahead and see what happens. Whoa! Didn't even cut all the way through because the blades aren't long enough. But look at that. Let's try the Dewalt here. There we go. See, that's what I was used to with the Dewalt, and that's what I wasn't kidding about, trying to maybe try to get these to cut through. Sometimes the Dewalt needs to take a break. Let's try the Prunibaroo again. And this is outside. It's what it's for. Look at that. So, pretty cool. And then it takes all my Dewalt batteries as well. Comes in a case. It did have a wrist strap here. I think I took that off. It was just getting in the way. I think you could put a better lanyard on this. The only other thing is a way to cover the blade. It came with a little plastic piece, and I broke that and then lost it. The only reason I have these is because they're pretty heavy, so I've managed to find them again. But the Dewalt one, again, you know, the chance of putting it on the right way is like 0 for me. Even this isn't quite fitting, and then if you turn it on, it shoots off. So, early attempt. The Milwaukee, they actually designed it to fit sort of either way, but one better than the other. This is a place that I think there should be, you know, maybe some captive spot to slide this on or to keep it from getting lost. But anyway, there it is. I really like this thing. The other safety feature I want to mention is that if I set it down and just leave it, it'll just shut off on its own, which is good. So if I set it down, I get distracted, somebody else picks it up, it's not still in its active mode, you know, like this Milwaukee that's been sitting around out here. And the Dewalt's always ready to go, regardless. The cutting on this is kind of fun, you know, because it does keep count. So if that's something you're interested in, and it also has a battery indicator built into the back. There is an integrated cooling fan as well, and I have reached the limit of the Dewalt, you know, in a lot of cutting. Usually just takes a second to let it, you know, get back, especially after cutting something that's too big. That's when I notice that. And then that closable blade is kind of nice. You probably have to remember to do that, but once you do, you know, it's pretty easy. Kind of makes sense. It's intuitive. Does not come with any batteries. It's assuming you have the batteries. It also makes it a little more affordable, way more affordable than the Milwaukee and the Dewalt if you're already in the system. I can even run it. You know, if you can imagine just how long it would it would allow me to keep pruning. You can see if I toggle it, kind of like the Milwaukee there. One other thing I want to mention about using these is it is a very fast tool once you get going, especially if you're holding something. So you really do have to be careful. It's not a forgiving tool, so it's something just to pay attention to. But again, this one's half a pound lighter than the Dewalt. This is just a go-to now. I like the color scheme too. I wonder where they got that. Anyway, let me know your thoughts, and with that, Doc out.